Can you guys hear me?
Now we can.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to council meeting. I know this is going to be the highlight of your week. It is mine. We're going to start off tonight's meeting with the invocation by the Honorable Pastor Shannon Scott of Grace Baptist Church.
Thank you, Mayor. And I just want to say a quick thanks to all of you for all you do all year long and helping to serve our city. We appreciate your service. Let's pray together. Father, thank you. Thank you for being so good to us and providing for us all year long. Thank you for the safety in our communities. And Lord, we pray that we would not take you for granted ever. Lord, we're mindful as we get into this holiday season that there are people within our city, Lord, that they may be lonely. They may be alone because of something that's happened in their life this year. Lord, a memorable time as we think about the time for family and friends to gather. Lord, I pray that you'd be with people, Lord, that they would have someone with them. And Father, that they'd have some place they could reach out to for help if they don't. Be with our police officers and first responders, our firefighters and all that they do. Be with those at the hospitals tonight. Lord, we pray that you'd watch over and guide and protect them and make people well. Lord, we're mindful of our teachers and students throughout the city. Help them, Lord, in the work and the effort that they do in the learning, Lord, within our community. And we just want to thank you tonight for this group of people that do the business of the city. We pray that you'd give them wisdom and discernment in everything that's said and done. And may you be someone that we look to continually. Thank you for your help. We love you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
If you'll remain standing and actually look at the flag behind me, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll kick it off. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you'll remain standing, I'm just kidding. Keep sitting. All right. Want to say thank you to Pastor Scott for the prayer. I think he's 4 times in a row now, so he might hold the record on that. We're going to convene open session of, I feel like this microphone doesn't like me. I'd like to convene open session at this time. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Individuals wishing to address the city council are requested to complete a speaker card and deliver it to the city clerk staff prior to the item being heard by the city council. Please observe a 3-minute limit for communications, and once called upon to speak, please state your name and city of residence for the record. And with that, we'll move along to meeting minutes. Ms. Edwards, are there any speaker cards from the public for meeting minutes?
Mayor, we do not have any speaker cards for the meeting minutes.
Okay. With that, public session's closed. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, 4-0. And if you're wondering, Councilmember Casillas couldn't be here tonight. She's up in Northern California on special assignment. She's decided to fix the state. So
She'll be back Wednesday. Yeah, she'll be done. Just take a couple days.
she'll be back, but she's not here tonight to kick me when I make mistakes. So it could be a long night. Moving along to consent calendar. All items listed on the consent calendar are considered to be routine matters, status reports, documents covering previous city council action. The items listed on the consent calendar may be enacted in one motion with the concurrence of the city council. A council member or any person in attendance may request that an item be removed for further consideration. Would any of you all like to?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to pull 7.7, 7.9, 7.11, and 7.15.
Okay. Wesley?
I had the same. And just want to note that if no one pulls 7.8, I'm abstaining because my company does work with one or more of the companies that are listed there.
All right, so noted. You got that, Sylvia? Jim?
I'm good.
Sylvia, is Jackie on Zoom or is she
She's
gone?
absent from this meeting.
Okay. All right, I have no items. All right, Sylvia, are any items from the public being pulled?
Mayor, we did not receive any speaker cards for the consent calendar. I do want to note that on agenda item 9.7, there was a typo on the recommended action. There was a period instead of a comma, so the number should read $999,042.
Okay. 9.7. 7.9?
Agenda item 7.9.
Could you repeat the dollar amount again?
It should be $999,042.
Okay. Got it. That's correct on that one.
It's a huge savings. It was 999,000, so we're already saving money here tonight. Okay, with that, do we have a motion? And second? And vote. Okay, 4-0. Up first, 7.7, construction contract with David Ollis Landscape Development, Inc. in the amount of $381,000 for the City Hall Veterans Memorial Improvements, Capital Improvement Project. Tony, you pulled it. You want
Yep.
to lead us?
Thank you, Mayor. I don't need a staff report. I just was kind of curious, in reading the staff report, the way that they broke down the costs of it, they added the city portion fees of $85,000 for construction, supervision, permits, that type of stuff. And I haven't seen that in a project before, the way that they listed this. Is that like an in-kind donation, or how does that work? With
Yes.
the way it was broken down for the costs?
You can ask Savat to respond to that question.
Sure. Can you rephrase that question again?
So in the staff report, the way that they broke down the total cost of $505,000, the portion going to the contractor, then there was $85,000 going to for the city's portion, I'm assuming, for permits and construction documents or something, a couple other things in there?
Oh, yes, yes. So that portion is for staff time, labor compliance, and the construction inspection, so that's a separate.
But I haven't seen that before. Is it because it's ARPA funds or?
No, we typically have 10% for its construction support.
Well, no, you have a contingency of 10%, but I haven't seen the breakdown where you've added in the city's portion.
Okay. We typically do. The 10% is usually for the construction contract, you are correct. And then we typically have either 5 or 10%, depending upon the size of the contract, for the construction support portion.
Okay, I've just never seen it. I don't think I've seen it broken down this way, so I was just curious. And then this is something that we've been waiting a long time for, so I'm really excited to see that it's moving forward. I was hoping to see if there was a construction timeline. I didn't see one of those in the staff report.
Let's see here.
I didn't read every page of the contract, but I could be wrong.
It's on the front page. 15 plus 7.
I believe the construction contract, I think I read the staff report, the construction will begin in January, and it should be completed by March.
Got it.
Yeah, so it's 15 days for move-in, 75 working days.
Yeah, I saw that, but that doesn't give me a start date.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. With that, I'll move.
I think Wes pulled it too.
Oh,
The same question was when it was going to start, that's all.
Okay, I had the same question as well. Sylvia, are there any speaker cards on this issue?
Mayor, we do not have any speaker cards for this item.
Okay, with that, public comments is closed. It looks like Wes moved. I'll second. Vote your hearts out. Okay, 4-0. Up next, Wes abstained from 7.8. 7.9, construction contract with Micon Construction, Inc. in the amount of just under $1 million for community facilities and infrastructure Phase 1 Victoria Park Splash Pad. Tony?
Yep. So I'm just looking for a timeline on this one. I'm hoping that we will be done before our splash pads open.
Yeah, I'm going to just jump in really quickly. So this project is planned to be open by next spring. So we hope to have it open before spring, summer, before the splash pad season would normally open. That's the plan, is to have it ready for when the weather warms up and we can turn it on.
Okay.
Wes, same question? All right, Sylvia, are there any speaker cards on the great splash pad that's being built at Victoria Park and all the citizens are happy?
Mayor, we do not have any speaker cards for this item.
I'm shocked. I thought that's why everyone was here. With that, we have a motion and we're, we're voting. Okay, 4-0. Up next. $7.11, construction contract with R2 Build. This is for the South Mall parking lot, Main and Sixth Streets project. Tony, you were the first. Do you want to?
I'm again asking for a starting timeline.
Noticing a trend here, Jake.
Go ahead, Spot.
Same time frame. We're going to start in January, and we should be completed by March.
3 months?
It says 105 days with move-in, so
But 3 to 6 months.
Well, to be clear,
Yes.
it should be done. We're hoping to have it substantially completed in March. I could foresee it going into April somewhat, but the plan is to have it done right around that time frame.
Okay. I appreciate that. Is the plan is also to the world's largest pothole in that parking lot will be?
no, we got to take it
Sadly,
back.
it's going away.
Yeah, okay. All right. With that, I'll move.
Wes, did you have?
No.
same
No, I'm just
questions
really
as Tony?
excited to see it go forward. This is, I believe this is going to be the first project downtown right now, so I'm pretty excited about seeing it start.
Yes, this is a good genesis. Jim, any questions, comments, concerns? Sylvia, are there any speaker cards on this issue?
Mayor, we do not have any speaker cards for this item.
All right. With that, public comments are closed. Vote your conscience. There's a lot going on tonight. Okay. Up next, 7.15, construction contract with Resource Environmental, Inc., in the amount of $1.5 million for the old PD building demolition capital improvement project number FC 2023-09. Tony?
Yeah, so I know that part of the stall on this was figuring out the fiber optics and all that type of stuff. And I'm hoping that we figured that out and, again, was looking for a timeline. Do you think, and specifically, do we think that this may impact our summer concert series?
I don't believe it should. We plan to start in January. Savat, when's our completion date for this one?
I'm going
8
to
to
say
9.
March again, but before, it will not impact the summer concerts.
Okay.
I saw Keegan out there with a piece of paper going like this.
Yeah, I figured demolition happens a lot quicker than construction, so.
It does. It does.
Okay. That was the only question. With that, I'll move.
All right, Sylvia, are there any speaker cards? Or Jim, I'm assuming you're good? I'm good. Okay.
Mayor, we do not have any speaker cards for this item.
Chief Newman's okay with the police building coming down? All right. With that, public comments are closed. We've moved, seconded, and now we're voting. All right, 4-0. A lot of money and a lot of good things just happened in the last 5 minutes. Okay, number 9, public hearings. This portion of the agenda is advertised for public hearings.
Mayor,
Oh, did I skip it? Thanks, Sylvia. It's always that mayor, the way you say it. And happy belated birthday yesterday. You are now 24 years old. Number 8, communications from the public. This portion of the agenda is intended for general public comment on items within the council's jurisdiction that are not listed elsewhere on the agenda. Please note that state law prohibits the city council from discussing or taking action on these items. Please observe a three-minute limit for your comments, and once called upon to speak, please state your name and city of residence for the record. And if you're from another city, don't even tell us. Ms. Edwards, are there any speaker cards?
Mayor, yes, we have 3 speaker cards for communication from the public.
Okay, come on up. Pastor Chris, is that you? All right.
Magistrates, I've had a really good day. I decided that I got to stop being a victim. You know, it attracts bad energy. You know what I mean? God has had me stupid for a while so I could be victimized and he could fix some things up. And so, you know, I've told you about it's my lawsuit of attraction, you know, and the fact that I haven't got any of my civil rights and human rights and rights to free speech. I mean, you know, I came here two months ago and they arrested me for telling you guys the truth. That you shouldn't be arresting people and making criminals out of whole families. But anyway, I forgive everybody. I love everybody. And even though I get threats of going to jail 7 times a day, I'm not going to lose my peace. I'm not going to live in that war zone that I've lived in that's kept me handicapped. And I met ChatGPT. I met him a while back. I wanted to get a new computer so I could go in through the open source, through the back door, and do the for real in the coding because I'm a coder. But I couldn't get that. I got on my phone last night, got every agency I needed to get a hold of to stop the human trafficking and what's being done to the Word of God in Corona. And I got everybody I needed to. I talked to all these people and they're going to help me. And then I still had to go to the DA to make him see if he'll do anything. So I did that and I made friends with the DA because they're not supposed to take my rights. They're not supposed to human traffic fathers. Why they let the child molester that did this to my family that I've been talking about for so long, he got out in less than a year with his strikes taken away because the judge made a private deal with him. He brought him in chambers and he became his own advocate. While you guys are trying to, I'm facing 7 to 10 for protecting my family. But they'll let me go if I just say I'm guilty again. It'll be the 7th or 8th time that you guys have convicted me on something I've never done. I mean, on things that were against the Constitution. You can't, I live in a church, my church. It's recognized by your city. But then I am not allowed to say, I don't want a child molester living in my house, Pam. And she says, well, then get out of the house or I'm calling the cops. And I had to run. And I don't get to eat or go feed the dogs because I'm chased out of my own house, my own church, just for rolling my eyes at something that's ridiculous. It's unenforceable. It's not something you can do to a pastor to say that he can't speak truth. Now you can say I can't yell it and scream it and tell people I'm going to hurt them. I don't do that. I shouldn't have to go to jail for telling you the truth when I didn't want to hurt nobody. I was out there. They asked me. They said I was drunk. I wasn't drunk. They said that I was crazy. Well, I love Jesus. I guess that's crazy. And I don't think you can arrest me. But I was wrong. They could put me down for 12 days. And the only reason I got out is because I had a lawsuit against you guys, but I missed the court case because my wife made sure I didn't. Anyway, God bless you guys. 1,000 years of blessing. All you got to do is stop being mean.
All right. Thanks, Pastor Chris. Dale?
Great to see you, Dale. Yes, sir.
You guys make me feel like a total failure. You guys can tear down buildings in 2 months. You can build things in a year. And I just realized it's been 9 years on this park and the home development. And it's just, it seems like a lifetime to get this far. And the only reason I came tonight is, I hope this isn't another false expectation, but the EIR should be out on December 17th. And I guess when you're married to something for so long, you get so excited about it coming to culmination finally. And I hope it does. I'm excited about it. And personally, about the 25-acre open space, it means a lot to me. It really does. So I hope you don't think I've been slacking. But Karen's been supportive. I don't know if you guys have talked to her at all, but we still have her support, and Oxbow's been supportive, and we're going through the process, but it's not a 2-month program or a 6-month program, as you know. So that's it. Any questions?
No, just try not to be a slacker in the future. Dario's been talking. I didn't want to call
I'll do
him
it quicker
out
next time.
Frank, you coming up?
Nothing to complain about, so I wrote a nice memo. And it's going to take under 3 minutes. I read it twice. Good evening, Mayor Richens, City Council members, Chief of Police, Fire Chief, City Manager, City Attorney, Department Manager, and all the dedicated public servants here tonight. I want to take this moment to express my deepest gratitude to each one of you for your timeless service to our wonderful city, Corona. From the mayor's office to the city council, from our police officers to our fire department, from department managers to field workers, I had interaction on a personal, professional level. Your commitment to the well-being of our community is nothing short of remarkable. It's easy to forget how much work goes into keeping a city like ours safe, running smoothly, and moving forward. But your dedication and hard work do not go unnoticed. Whether it's making tough decisions for the future of our city, ensuring that our streets are safe, or protecting us in emergencies, you play a vital role in shaping the quality of life we all enjoy. Mayor Richens and all the past mayors and city council, thank you for your vision and leadership in guiding our city through challenging times. To the city council, again, thank you for the long hours, the careful deliberation, and the many ways you represent us and advocate for our needs. Chief of Police, thank you, sir, for leading a force that protects us with integrity and courage. And to the fire chief, thank you for ensuring our firefighters are ready and willing to respond at a moment's notice. You work so hard, often behind the scenes, and it's important to pause and recognize that, especially now, and the holiday season approaches. I want to offer my heartfelt appreciation, not only for what you've done, but also for what you continue to do. We are fortunate to have leaders who are so invested in making our Corona a better place for all. As you take time to celebrate the holidays with your families, I hope you also take a moment to reflect on the impact you've made. You are truly making a difference, and we are grateful for each one of you. Please know that we, the residents of Corona, are praying for you, supporting you, and cheering you on as you continue the great work you are doing. May this holiday season bring you joy, rest, and a renewed sense of purpose. Thank you, and may God bless you all in the year ahead.
You're awesome, Frank. Sylvia, are there any other cards?
Mayor, we do not have any more speaker cards.
Okay. With that, communications from the public is closed. I wish we could just end the meeting right now. It'd be the best council meeting ever. Number 9, public hearings. With Sylvia's permission, we'll go into 9.1, specific plan amendment 2024-2, amending the downtown revitalization specific plan to comprehensively amend the development standards, design guidelines, and public streetscapes for the downtown district and other commercial and business park districts of the specific plan. Expand the boundary of the specific plan south of the southerly portion of Grand Boulevard to include existing residential properties, replace outdated information, and change the appearance and graphics of the specific plan document. The applicant is City of Corona. I'm pretty sure every council member wants a staff report on this item. And we'll just go into Joanne Coletta, Planning and Development Director, will present this item.
Thank you and good evening. As you indicated, this is an amendment to our current downtown specific plan. So really the intent of doing this amendment is to, first of all, continue on with the vision that's been established within our general plan. And secondly, it's also to support the concepts that were presented to the City Council back in 2022 with the Downtown Revitalization Plan that was taken on by the Economic Development Department. This amendment will update the downtown and commercial districts development standards to promote redevelopment based on all the efforts that the City Council has taken to push forward with downtown revitalization. It will also provide more enforceable design guidelines. We will also be expanding the boundary of the specific plan by 79 acres to include additional residential properties. And as you just indicated, we will also be updating some text and graphics to make it a more modernized document. This plan was originally adopted in 1998 and has not had an overhaul since then. So this will be basically a brand new looking document, bringing it up to date. So as I indicated, the specific plan is being expanded by 79 acres. The plan is currently 621 acres and it will now increase to 700 acres. That red area there indicates the expansion. Most of those properties, except for one park site, all of those properties are residential. So we're really not changing anything other than bringing them into the specific plan. And the reason for doing that is because these properties are pretty historic in nature, just in terms of the time it was developed, and it's really compatible with the residential properties that exist within the Grand Boulevard Circle. So this plan here shows you the land use districts that are within the specific plan that we will be adding to those additional properties. But we are not making any changes to the land use districts within the downtown plan itself when it comes to the area along 6th Street and Main Street. The downtown district is that area that you see highlighted in red. That is the core of the downtown area. And 6th Street is really the corridor for all the commercial properties. So beyond the downtown district, we have additional commercial districts going to Grand Boulevard and beyond Grand Boulevard. And then the areas that you see there along Main are our community services district to the south, which is generally our medical field, as well as office development, and gateway business to the north, which is to the north of the 91 freeway. So this just gives you a general idea of the layout, and all of that yellow area there is represents our residential zones. So what the plan will do based on its organization, and like all of our specific plans, it will contain chapters as well as appendices. It will have an introduction. It will have the vision and framework. It'll go into the land use regulations as well as development standards. It also includes our design guidelines, circulations, infrastructure, streetscapes, as well as our administration. So what I want to do this evening for the City Council, I'm not going to hit on every chapter. I just want to hit on the highlights, which are probably the most talked about. So Chapter 2 is our vision and framework. Chapter 3 and 4 is our development standards and design guidelines. Chapter 5 is our circulation, and Chapter 7 is our streetscape. So when it comes to our vision and framework, I do want to emphasize that this is not the first time that we've had a vision for downtown. Again, this originated in 1998 when we developed the original specific plan. And at that time, the city took on a great effort. It spent a weekend doing a community charrette, and we had the community involved to create the vision plan, which really established those land uses within the downtown area. The general plan followed after that, to where we continued to focus on downtown being an opportunity district for redevelopment. And most recently, the efforts have been in the downtown revitalization plan from 2022, as well as the City Park Master Plan. So really what the vision is to possess a unique identity and sense of place for the downtown, and have it be a vibrant, walkable place featuring a complementary mix of uses. You are going to have a different and a variety of mix of uses within the downtown area, and then have also new development be respectful of the traditional town center. When it comes to Chapter 3, these are just the development standards that mostly we deal with on a daily basis. This is when we get into what is a building setback, what is the height, what are the parking requirements, what are the signage and the landscaping. This really creates the building envelope for all the properties within the downtown area. So this is the regulatory portion of the document. You saw this at the study session when we brought it to you a couple of months ago. And what we did here, and most importantly, I just want to point out the downtown district, which is that top one there. We originally had a front yard setback and a street side yard setback of 8 feet. We are changing that. We are actually going to have 0 setback standards for the entire downtown district because we want to make sure that it's all usable space. And in doing so, it will also allow us to allow all that space to be used for something. Right now, we have restrictions on what can be done in the setback, and we no longer want to do that. So what you see here, the setbacks can now be used for seating and furniture, outdoor dining, landscaping, building arcades and galleries, because what we're trying to do is push these buildings closer to the sidewalk so you have that storefront entrance from the sidewalk. So these development standards are actually becoming more flexible. The other thing we're adding to the plan are the building step backs, and these are only going to occur along 6th Street and when adjacent to residential neighborhoods. So what this does, it actually breaks up the massing of the building, especially if you have a multi-story building along the street. So anything that is over 3 stories will get set back by 10 feet, but up to a maximum of 5 stories. After the 5th story, we will no longer have any step backs. So all that is to try to break up that massing and that appearance from the street level. Chapter 4 is really the design guidelines. This is more of the aesthetic look. Now that you know what you're able to build in, this is where we get into what the building materials can be, what the architectural elements are going to be, and really all the gingerbreading when it comes to creating that downtown atmosphere, awnings and signage and so forth. So that's really what Chapter 4 will cover. So we will be looking at site planning, building design, landscaping, as well as the signage. Chapter 5 is the circulation. As you know, it covers historic Grand Boulevard as well as portions of Main and 6th Street. And this chapter will follow through on all the efforts that the city has taken to date to actually redo the enhancements along 6th Street. And it also takes into consideration the future plans that we have for 6th Street as well. And then finally, when it comes to the public streetscapes, this is where we want to create an identity for downtown. So it's really trying to establish, when you're coming into downtown Corona versus anywhere else within the city. So this talks about our gateways, probably having, decorative light poles that are identical to the downtown area, as well as community kiosk signage, and as well as our streetscape designs. So this chapter will cover all of that. So we are recommending approval of the amendment this evening just because it is consistent with the vision that we have in our general plan, and it's also consistent with all of our municipal code requirements, and we're also recommending approval of the addendum to the general plan EIR and the downtown specific plan EIR.
Okay, are you still going? Oh, good. All right, with that, let's move into public hearing. The public hearing is now open. Sylvia, are there any speaker cards for this item?
Mayor, we do not have any speaker cards for this item. We did receive correspondence, and the council was provided with copies of the correspondence that was received.
Okay, I want to make sure we cover that a little bit later, but let's go to the council. You're good? Oh, I guess we'll go. Sylvia, so there was a letter from Herman Mayforth, and I guess really this is for Joanne. Did you get a copy of the email? Can you address Herman's concerns? Because I'm sure he's watching.
Okay. So he called out that the amendment will make some uses non-conforming within the downtown area, and he specifically was in reference to the automotive-related uses. So we actually currently limit automotive-related uses in some of the zones within the downtown area, but this amendment will now completely not allow auto-related uses within the downtown and the general commercial and the transitional commercial districts. We actually want to keep those more in the business park district. I do want to make it clear, though, these businesses that exist today can continue to operate in their current capacity. The only time that they would not be allowed to continue to operate if there is a lapse in the use for 180 days. And that's currently written in our current specific plan, and it's carried over into this amendment. So as long as the operation is continuous and the use does not stop for 180 days, then that is not going to be an issue for our existing operators. And when it comes to any building expansion, that is not allowed as well, so they have to operate in their current capacity.
Okay, thank you, Joanne, for the report, and I'm sure Herman heard you loud and clear and is very happy about it. Public hearing is closed. The council is content. Do we have a motion and second?
Mayor, the motion needs to be read.
Yep.
Sorry, Wes.
No, I'm good. This is what I'm really excited about. This has been a long time coming, so I'm happy to read it. Introduced by title only and waive full reading of the consideration of ordinance number 3407, first reading of the ordinance adopting the addendum to the environmental impact report for the Corona General Plan Technical Update, SCH 2018-081039, and environmental impact report for the Corona Redevelopment Downtown Specific Plan, SCH 97071021, approving the amendment to the Downtown Revitalization Specific Plan, SP 98-1, to 1, comprehensively amend the development standards, design guidelines, and public streetscapes and expand the boundaries of the specific plan, and 3, amend the corresponding changes to associated text and exhibits within specific plan SPA 2024-0002. Good.
Okay, that's approved. I forgot to mention, just wanted to thank Assistant City Manager Justin Tucker for the residential portion. I know he went and drove every house and every street, and mainly just to shut me up. But I fully appreciate it, and I'm glad those houses are rolled into this issue. With that, we are moving to 9.2. Ordinance amending Chapter 16.21 of the Corona Municipal Code. Ordinance amending Chapter 16.21 of the Corona Municipal Code to update the Western Riverside County Transportation Uniform Mitigation Fee, or TUMP program, and resolution adopting the TUMP schedule applicable to all developments in the city of Corona according to the TUMP Nexus Study 2024 update prepared by the Western Riverside Council of Government. I'm sure Wes read all of that. Does any council member want a staff report on this item? Tony, Wes, no. Jim, no. Me, no. Sylvia, does anybody in the audience, board, in life, and want to hear a staff report?
Mayor, can you open the public hearing first?
Oh. With the public hearing now open, Sylvia, is anyone out there bored in life and want to hear a public hearing or have a speaker cards or?
Mayor, we do not have any speaker cards, and we did not receive correspondence for this item.
Oh, they're a good audience. All right, with that, public hearing is now closed. And does anybody second it and vote?
Mayor, the motion needs to be read for this item.
Sorry, Wes.
This short one, it's all good. Introduced by title only and waive full reading and consideration of ordinance number 3406 for the first reading of an ordinance approving amendment chapter 16.21 of the Corona Municipal Code to update the Western Riverside County Transportation Uniform Mitigation Fee TUMP program.
Okay. Four to zero. With that, we'll go to administrative reports. 10.1, Vice Mayor Steiner's request for the City Council to consider the installation of automated timed gates at the entrances to the Sierra Bella parking lot. Moses Cortez, Facilities, Parks, and Trails Manager, will present the item. The floor is yours, Moses.
Good evening, council and Councilmember Steiner. I just want to bring back a quick update on an item that was brought to us for Sierra Bella Park. And what we wanted to do is just provide you some details on installing some A-frame gates with some automated openers and just kind of what that looks like. So it would consist of 2 A-frame gates at the entrance. Both of those gates would open inward to not block the sidewalk. Be 2 automated openers, 1 controller mounted near the trash enclosure, traffic loop on the inside that would allow somebody to exit should they be inside the parking lot when the gates close at the set time. And installation, we'd be utilizing as many existing conduits as possible to minimize the trenching. And this would allow for a secure parking lot after hours within the park and just add to the additional security items that are currently there with the security camera. The cost would be, I believe, right around $30,000. And just want to bring that to you. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to help answer.
Thank you, Moses. I wanted to add a little bit more context to this. So about 4 years ago or so, many residents in the area had hit me up about a lot of activity going on in that little park after dark, and can we install some gates? I did a field trip with one of the residents to Chino Hills and looked at some different gate configurations. At the time, the decision was, let's just try to do enforcement. Our park rangers were coming on board. PD could make more proactive checks of the area. And we've been doing that quite a bit. And, what I've been telling the people is, hey, if you see something, say something. You have a non-emergency number for a reason. Call it in so we can collect the data of what truly is going on in that park after dark. So this year, we've had 90 calls to the police department for service at Sierra Bella Park. We've had 34 police proactive patrols, and we've had 51 property checks by park rangers. This is a little tiny park. This is ridiculous how much activity and a drain on our resources that it's creating. The general consensus from both PD and the residents who are calling it in is that people are loitering or sleeping in their cars in the parking lot after curfew. And the challenge of this park is like most parks, you can drive by and see if something's going on in the area. When you drive down Green River, you cannot see the park. When you go up Sierra Bella Drive, you can see some of the park and some of the parking lot, but there's hiding places. And then the park that Moses, or the camera that Moses is talking about, gets a great view of the entire park, the entire parking lot, everything. But it's just recorded. It's just monitored. It's not monitored. So if there was a crime or something there, you could go back and look at it and see, maybe catch the person. But there's not an officer looking at it all day long going, oh, it's after dark, let me go up there. So the request is that we put this gate in, a simple gate, that, it will open from the inside if there's a vehicle in there after dark. But and in my future agenda item requests, I think all of our parks are sacred regardless of what area of town they're in, whether they're in a lower income or a higher income area. They're still our parks, and they still need to be treated the same. So I'm making this request to my colleagues, and I hope you can support it.
So I drove by that park a week and a half ago, or a week ago, or something like that. That park was put in by the developer when they built those homes. Is that correct?
It's a public park, though, yeah.
Yeah, they built it for public use. I guess my only concern I got 2 concerns with the gate. Why, is there a reason that we're going with an automated gate rather than a gate that can be opened and shut by hand?
That was actually my suggestion, just because I was thinking, okay, so a park ranger or somebody has to go to that park every single day now and open it and close it. And I just felt like, why don't we just have it self-closing to where once curfew hits, it just closes? And then however they set it up to make it open in the morning without having to have a person go do that. Or if somebody was in the park after dark, now they're calling PD to come let them out. So that's all.
Well, that park's not very big. I guess if somebody was closing it, it would take them about 4 minutes to check the park and see if there was somebody in there. I mean, no disrespect, Moses, but I think that your costing is well under what it's actually going to cost, especially when you put an automated gate in there, right? The closure itself is very expensive. So I'd like to see what a price could be. But the other thing is it kind of feels like it's going to make that park exclusive to that neighborhood. Because you can still access that park from that neighborhood from the back. Like they could go down the hill and,
No, you still have to go through the gate.
no, but if you lived in the neighborhood above the park, you could go down into the park.
Well,
Yeah.
sure, anybody can walk in, yeah.
I'm just like, I guess my concern is it feels like it's going to make that park exclusive to that community. But what is the proposed timing or time frame on the park? Like, what time does it close? What time is it
I think
open?
is 10 o'clock, Chief?
10:30.
Our parks are open from 5 a.m. to 10:30 p.m.
Okay. So, yeah, and you know, there's some areas off Green River that the homeless really like to frequent, and I don't want that park to become one of them.
The walk uphill to get to it.
Yeah.
Okay, those are the only concerns that I had.
I've been watching you get the information together, and I'm supportive in theory, but I'm worried about the slippery slope. That there's other parks in the city that have similar blind spots, like Griffin Park. That's kind of a famous, really you can't see it at all unless you drive up in it, and that's a tough one to get to. And I'd be curious to see, how much time we're having to spend in some of these other parks that you can't get to. I mean, I live next to Santana Park, and yeah, you could drive by it. But I imagine there's probably just as many calls of people that were in there, and I don't know if a gate would keep them out. But I'm interested in seeing if that number holds up true, and then the reliability part. And the other part is that, somebody's in there at 10:15, and they're, maybe they don't know the park closes at 10:30. And then they're locked in, and they got to call and let them out, and I'm wondering how many times that's going to happen.
It
and-
wouldn't, because it's a gate that will open to sensors just like downstairs.
Okay. All right. I guess I'm supportive, but I'd want to flesh out that number a little bit more and then see. I mean, like I said, I hadn't thought about it more than just sitting here thinking about, what you said, Tony, and if there are other parks that maybe this is something we look at for those too. And Griffin being one of them, maybe that's something that the PD has some recommendations for other parks that are where people are causing trouble at. Maybe we look at doing a CIP for more than one park.
Yep, I'd be all for it.
What was your budget, Moses?
It's around 30,000, so we did check with our contractor for the openers, and then the gates were right around 11,000 to build, so.
The restrooms at that park, are we closing them and opening them with the park rangers?
They get locked by our security company at night. So the restrooms are being locked.
Could that same security company close a gate?
They could.
Okay.
I'm. What?
We're already sending somebody there to open the bathrooms and close the bathrooms.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I didn't know they were doing that in the morning and the evening. So I'd be open to doing that. I'm just trying to keep a body from having to go do the work. With
Yeah,
technology
I
these
agree.
days, why would you need a person? What do you think about that, Moses?
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, we already got the initial price for the gates, so we could do the gates and not put the openers in just yet and see how that goes.
See how that goes first? That's okay.
I'd be supportive of that.
Yeah.
Can we get the price though? Because I do like the innovation. And even if security locks up this park, Wes is right. We may want these at other parks. So if we could get the price just to.
Sure. And ultimately, Mayor, this is an item to give us direction to spend more time on it. And so if that's something the council would like us to do, we're happy to dig into that a little bit more, firm up prices, and bring back some options for you.
Okay. With that, let's do public comments. I'm assuming, Sylvia, there's one speaker card. Joe?
Good evening. It's more of a logistical question than anything else. The restrooms don't get closed at 10:30. We were at Kellogg Park the other night for the ride out, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the bathroom, and they were locked. So they don't all get locked at 10:30. So, it seems like a discussion that needs to be had. Maybe that's what ought to be automated, or have somebody have a uniform schedule to lock some of these parks or lock the restrooms. So thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Joe. Sylvia, are there any other speaker cards?
Mayor, no, we do not have any more speaker cards.
Moses, is the gate, or I'm sorry, the gate, are the bathrooms on a rotation like the guys going from park to park to park to park?
There are some, and there are some that we have higher, unfortunately, unhoused folks there, so they do get locked slightly earlier. But those are locked. Sierra Bella is locked by a security company at night. They go from Griffin to Parkview and then there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you know what time they actually lock the bathrooms usually?
At Sierra Bella,
Yeah.
it's going to be right around that 10:30.
Okay. All right. So
right around that
that
time.
would work out good then with
Yeah.
closing the gate too. Okay.
Thanks, Moses.
Thank you.
Okay, Jacob, are you cool with that? All right. Number 11, legislative matters. There are none. Reports from boards and commissions. Libraries, good. Planning and Housing Commission's good. Parks and Rec's good. Regional meetings, update from West Peak on the, all right, update from West Peak on the Ow Wow Steering Committee meeting of November 21st, 24.
Oh, wow. So you gotta say it. Oh, wow. Just really quick, we had a presentation from the Forest Service on spending some Prop 1 money in the Cleveland National Forest. I asked for a detailed list, and they're supposed to get it to me. And they're doing clearing and arundo removal in certain parts of the forest, including cutting some new fire breaks on Main Street, off of Main Street Canyon and off of Skyline. They've done quite a bit of arundo removal in the riverbed. Unfortunately, this is one of those things it's paid for by developer funds, and they tend to do it spot-wise. But the problem is that unless you eliminate it from its source, it just continues to kind of grow. In fact, I think it'll grow somewhere like a couple inches a week in the growing season for this species, so pretty crazy. We did get a year one summary of our cloud seeding project that we kicked off last year. There's 15 ground-based seeding units who are deployed across 4 target areas: San Gabriel, San Bernardino, and San Jacinto, and Santa Ana Mountains. The season had 20 storm events with cloud seeding operations occurring in 13 of these. And these units were active for 2,100 hours using 17,000 grams of silver iodide, and that used 640 grams of AGL from 32 flares. And it basically shoots these things into the air to create rain in specific areas. A pension period occurred during the February timeframe because there was a large atmospheric event to ensure that it didn't, to reduce potential flooding, and there was no ground seeding done at that time. Detailed records of the seeding operations, including runtime hours, materials usage, and flare usage were also provided, and they're on the SAWPAWS website. If you want to know anything about it, you can go there. We are collaborating with the Desert Research Institute on validating the pilot program operations to see if we're going to repeat it for year 2. However, we postponed our pilot program until November 2025 because of the burn scars from several of the wildfires that we had this year. But we're looking forward to finding ways to kick back, or at least get our year 2 program programmed again. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Wes. Moving along, up, and oh, wow, by the way.
Oh, wow.
12.4B, update from Vice Mayor Steiner on the Riverside Transit Agency RTA Board meeting of November 21st.
Thank you, Mayor. Ridership continues to go up, so that's a good sign. RTA is offering free rides on all fixed route, commuter link, and Go microbuses starting at 2:30 p.m. So if you're out drinking or something, consider getting a free bus ride. And then RTA is proud to announce another year with an unmodified, clean, and passing audit from Brown Armstrong CPA. The agency continues to be a good steward of public funds. That completes my report.
Thank you, Jim. Up next, update from Tony Daddario on the Western Riverside County Regional Conservation Authority RCA meeting of December 2nd.
Thank you, Mayor. It was a quick meeting. We re-elected Chair Kevin Bash from the city of Norco to remain as chair for the next year. And also Supervisor Spiegel will be the vice chair again for the upcoming year. A couple highlights from the session. They did some farewells to some directors that will no longer be serving in an elected capacity. And so they recognized them, including Supervisor Kevin Jeffries, who obviously did not run for reelection. They did talk about the reserve of the month, and I know that you guys love this. And the one thing that I found that was really interesting about the Teledyne Reserve, which is a 180-acre reserve in the city of Harupa Valley. The reserve was acquired by the County of Riverside for conservation of the Delhi Sands flower-loving fly, also referred to as the fly. And why I found it so interesting is because these flies apparently grow to the size of 1 to 1.5 inch, which is a big old sucker. So it was really, they had a picture of that thing too, and
Big green eyes.
yeah, it does. And I was wondering, trying to think of swatting a fly that size is going to require a tennis racket, as long as it's not in the conservation. But other than that, it was a very quick meeting, and that is my report.
Okay, thanks, Tony. Ms. Edwards, are there any speaker cards on public and regional updates, especially the fly?
Mayor, we do not have any speaker cards.
I'm shocked. Okay. Oh, boy. This meeting's moved along quickly. Number 13, city's attorney's report and comments. Mr. Derleth, do you dare say anything? All right. Jacob?
No, Mayor,
you
thank
got?
you.
Nothing?
Not tonight.
Okay. City council member reports and comments. Moving along.
I just had one. I'm sure we're all going to talk about it. Wanted to give a big congratulations to our Parks Department, and I'm sorry, our Community Services Department. The tree lighting ceremony on Sunday was fantastic. The drone show was absolutely amazing. Really loved that. I guess I ruined the surprise for myself when I walked in between City Hall and the HCC after parking and going, what are all of these things here? So then I started, No, they had everything roped off. I had to walk all the way around. But then I started out, what is the deal with all of the drones? And they're like, that's kind of the surprise, so don't say that out loud. But it was, we all love the summer concert series, and I think what I love most about it is just the community and having the street closed off and just kind of being able to hang out with everybody. And I miss it every time that the summer concert series is over. So that kind of held me over until summer. But great job. Drone show was awesome. Thank you.
I want to say thank you to the folks at Dos Lagos. They invited us out and for their tree lighting on Sunday. My son and his wife and my brand new granddaughter came over, and I was feeding her around 3 o'clock, and she fell asleep in my arms. And my choice was either to put her down or go to the tree lighting, and I think I made the right choice and I stayed home. But I did get lots of pictures from everybody. And the videos, I'm bummed that I missed it, but not bummed. So congratulations again. I got lots of messages. I think my phone kind of blew up all at once. It actually kind of scared me because I thought something bad happened. So just want to say thank you to everybody for putting on a really, really great event, and looking forward to what you guys do next year. In fact, people were saying, did you know? And I said, I have no idea. I heard there was going to be something, but happy to see the video, and I bet it didn't lend a candle to it. I did want to close with, or at least for my comments on we had a groundbreaking ceremony on the 22nd. The mayor and I and the vice mayor went over to Magnolia and 6th Street to do groundbreaking for the Edison Trading Academy. This is a state-of-the-art facility that will enhance practical learning and training for SCE employees. This will be SCE's only training facility for not just their linemen, but for using all their technology. So the folks that operate their grid, the folks that operate every bit of their system will be trained here in Corona. They'll be closing all of their other locations and converting them to other uses as this opens and expands. It will be considered a living laboratory. and have the aim of addressing current technical and leadership gaps, including SE support of electrification and better supporting their customers. It was really cool to see not just the executive vice president for Edison, but the actual CEO of Edison International came out special from New York, Pedro Pizarro, that came out to do the groundbreaking, and he was really pleased and really excited to see the program go forward. And I'm just tickled pink that this is going to be in Corona, and coming from a location or coming from an area where when the vice mayor and council member Casillas and I were elected, that the Edison government relations person said that he really wasn't allowed in the building. And we go from that kind of relationship, it was very contentious, there was a lot of really bad things that were going on, to not only were they, we have a great relationship now with Edison. We did a project together that went really well, that the residents in Dos Lagos and the businesses in the crossings have really benefited from the last few years, to them putting something that will generate tax dollars for us for many, many years and create a great economic engine in that part of town. I'm just, I can't tell you how happy I'm about it. So I just want to say thanks again to Edison, and thanks again to staff to making sure that, I know it was something that you don't do every single day, is build a system that looks like it'll be a 500 kV line to, all the crazy stuff they were doing. So I appreciate the extra effort that staff went to make sure this project was pushed through, and their staff was very complimentary of staff and how it was done, and they're looking forward to actually, starting to get folks there and filling up our hotels on that side of town. So thank you very much.
Jim?
Ditto to what my two colleagues said about the Christmas tree lighting and also the Edison Training Center. It's pretty cool. One thing to report, last council meeting I reported out that the California Coastal Conservancy was getting ready to decide to allocate a lot of funding. And one of the agenda items was to allocate $9.2 million for the Green River connection on the Santa Ana River Trail. That basically goes from the backside of Green River Golf Course, where Chino Hills starts, to the connection at Green River. Kyla Brown, who's the director, Riverside County Director of Parks and Open Space, and myself both spoke at the Conservancy meeting in favor of the agenda item, and I'm happy to say that it passed unanimously. So $9.2 million will be going to Riverside County Parks to be allocated for the Green River 1.7 mile segment on the Santa Ana River Trail. So it's going to get us one step closer to a continuous trail from the mountains to the sea. So that's all. Thank you.
That's really cool. Yeah, to build off of what Wes said a little bit, Edison, Pedro Pizarro came out, and he runs an electrical company, and I run an electrical company, and so it's good that the two of us could hang out a little bit, two men of the same caliber, and but it was really cool to have him come to Corona, and Edison's going to bring a lot of money into our city with this new project. Should you ever find yourself as the mayor of Corona and at the Dos Lagos tree lighting ceremony, be sure not to thank the Corona Madrigals when it was the Santiago Madrigals that sang. It's very embarrassing. And so I'd like to apologize to the Santiago Madrigals tonight. Donna, you and your team were amazing with the drone show. It was incredible. And I understand that the Christmas tree can be jacked up even higher. A little birdie told me that, and so I'm really looking forward to that next year. But really, the night was so perfect. It was just perfect, and the only people that weren't perfect were the people that weren't there, because they would have saw their city stepping up in every way and just amazing everybody. And to see that drone show and the city logo that they did out of drones was just incredible. So I think that covers the night. It's been a while since we've had a fast meeting. The next meeting will be December 18th, 2024, and that's when we rearrange the deck chairs. So see you then.